Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at the chapter Societal Impacts, which is chapter number 11 in Informatics Practices. The introduction is saying that in today's era of information technology, we see that most of our activities are technology influenced. In each and every sphere of our life, we are using some or the other technologies. Like it can be online payments that we make, the creating or development of own piece of art or information, writing articles or clicking photographs and so forth. So there are some paradigms which are important to be learned in this chapter. We are going to learn about them because there are some crimes that can creep up through internet, like plagiarism can be there, cyber crime can be there. Intellectual property rights are what and how to preserve those rights, what is cyber law, what is e-waste management, and so on. So digital footprints are actually the records or the traces of individuals who leave, which are left by default automatically. Even if you do not want, some of the traces of your being on internet is left behind. Like your interactions on social media, your friend circle on social media sites that you visit, or you make an online purchase, or you do some online transaction, or the Facebook check-ins that you do, they are said to be digital footprints. They make up actually digital footprints. Your traces are left behind that yes, you have visited these sites. A common comparison to digital footprints is the footprints you leave behind you when you walk. Like when we walk on sand, our footprints are automatically left there. So that every step that leaves an impression on the sandy surface that allows another person to come to know that you have walked on that sand. Similarly, in digital footprints also we can say they are said to be digital tattoos. So unlike a beach footprint which will eventually fade away, because on beach when the river water will come towards that sand, and then the footprints will be washed away and eventually they will disappear. But in internet it doesn't do so. So it is safe to assume that anything you do, publish or post online may be there permanently and won't be washed away. So if you are putting your photographs over internet or Facebook, or you are putting some article or some video, they are never erased. They will always be there. They will never be washed away as time passes. So the mistakes aren't as easy as they used to, because once we post anything online, it stays forever. If you go there and you want that no, these things should be deleted, you can delete. Otherwise, those things will remain there forever. So digital footprints, they last forever, and colleges and jobs will look back at them to see if you are what you portray and how you conduct yourself actually. So if you are on social media, you are active on social media, and you want to apply in some college, or you want to apply for a job, then naturally they will visit your social media account and they will come to know that whatever you are portraying in front of them, are you that real one which you are portraying yourself on social media. Now, how to manage the digital footprints is an important thing. First is know what your digital footprint is. Look at all social networking sites and forums that you belong to and search your name to know what information about you is available. Whenever you have visited whichever websites or social media platforms you have been visiting, you can put your name on search, Google search, and come to know that what information about you is available on net. Second is behave responsibly. You should be smart and sensible enough to know which sites you are visiting, which emails you are sending, or what links you open. That means if you are working on internet, you have to be very meticulous that whatever links you are clicking, whatever sites you are visiting, whatever you are doing on internet, all of these have to be done carefully. Also, make sure to never share your location when online. Now, when you are online, do not try to share your location at that moment. So, it is best to wait until you are home to share pictures of an event or activity on social media. While you are live, do not try to share where you are, but when you are at home, then later on you can post the pictures or whatever events you have attended. Third is keep your digital footprint clean. Carefully go through your social media handles, past browsing history on YouTube and other public sites, and do the following. Remove any photos, content and links that may be inappropriate. So, whenever you find time, go to your social media accounts and see whatever is inappropriate, like the pictures, the videos or any information that you feel is inappropriate, remove them immediately. Second is remove any details about you that reveal too much information, like your phone number, school, college, name, address, etc. So, try to remove each of these details due to which you may be in danger later on. So, do not try to reveal too much of your details like your name, phone number, address, college, etc. Fourth is control the visibility of your information. So, every web browser social networking site offers options in their settings to control the visibility and access of your information. So, whenever you are working on any web browser or social networking site, they have got some option in which you can make your visibility, you can control your visibility on such sites. Rather than making every browsing activity and post of yours public, you should be selective about who you authorize to access your information. So, every browsing activity that you are doing on net should not be visible publicly. Always try that most of your activities are controlled by you only, and it's better to not to make them public. You can keep them private or share among your friends only. It should be limited to only your known circle or the people you can trust upon. So, you can share those information between your students or between your among your students, among your colleagues, your family, friends, etc. So, you should use the privacy features of your browser and of the various websites you frequent to reduce the visibility of your information. So, if you are visiting any website or you are working on any like social media handle or whatever, you have the option to make yourself private. Fifth is allow comments moderation. Since many comments on public websites can be publicly seen, monitor and moderate comments associated with you to maintain a positive digital footprint. Consider using block comments feature or setting your social networking profile to private so that only designated individuals can view your information. So, it's better that when you have posted anything on social media, try to block the comments so that nobody else can pass comments on your post. It can be only visible among your friends. Think before you post. Now, before you post anything, just think twice or thrice and then post it on the YouTube or Facebook or any other thing. All the above mentioned steps are to control what has been done earlier, but if you are cautious and think before you post anything online, your digital footprint will be clean. So, they have given a table here. Be careful about and be smart about. Be careful about what you share online. Second, where you share. Third, with whom you share. Fifth, be smart about sites you visit. You should be very careful that visit only sites which are sensible to use at. Emails you open and links you click. Don't just click on any link that you feel like. You should be sensible and smart enough to click on the desired links. Now comes net and communication etiquettes. See, we say netiquette. Netiquette means, net means related to internet, and etiquette means the manner in which to use it. So it refers to online manners while using internet or working online. So what type of manners are generally expected? First is refrain from personal abuse. If you disagree to something, you may express robust disagreement, but never call them names or threaten them with personal violence. Suppose you see any post, if you disagree with that, you can give your own comments, but don't try to call out names or abuse them or do anything in violence. Second is never spam, that is, don't repeatedly post the same advertisement for products or services. Then second is, once you have posted it, don't post it twice or thrice regarding that same product or that same service. Third is, write clearly and concisely. On a site that has many non-native English speakers, avoid using slang they may not understand. So if you are posting some you can say video or something, don't try to speak too difficult words that anybody else cannot understand it, who still is at the beginning stage of learning that language. Fourth is, always post correct content in respectful language. Your posts are public, they can be read by your friends, your siblings, your parents or your teachers. So the post should be such that even if your close relatives or your close friends, they read them, it is quite decent to look at. Fifth is, in a discussion forum, stick to the topic. If you have picked up one topic to speak on in a discussion forum, try to stick on that topic only, don't diverge from that topic. Sixth is, never expect other people to do your homework for you. Here they have said that never ask for or expect that your complete homework solution will be made available to you. While asking for help, include details of what attempts you have made to solve the problem. It will save time and also show people that you are making an effort to help yourself. So this means that suppose you are working and you want that some homework should be done by looking on internet, and you may ask questions on net, but it is necessary that you can tell them that what attempts you have been doing and how much have you completed and how much you are unable to understand, so that the other person can help you in that. Then seventh is, do not post copyrighted material to which you do not own rights. And suppose you are picking up some matter of a copyrighted material and then posting it by your own name, do not try that. Try to post that material which has no copyright, because copyrighted it means somebody else had used it previously and it is his copyright. You have to take permission from that person before posting it. This was the seventh point. Then comes email etiquettes. So now let's see email etiquettes. See, it is said that if you are writing emails, whether you are writing business emails or you are writing personal emails, there are some rules that should be followed so that the other person does not get hurt in that. So some of the points are, be concise and to the point. If you want to explain something to a person, it should be up to the point and not so much exaggerated. Then second point is, use proper spelling, grammar and punctuation. That means if you do not know how to write the appropriate spelling or grammar, or you are not using appropriate punctuation, then it seems to be an insult to the other person and it leaves a bad impression on the other person. Third is, use proper structure and layout. See, reading on a piece of paper is quite easy, but reading on a screen or on a mobile screen, it becomes difficult if you are not writing it properly. you should write it in such a way that the other person who is the reader, he can read the information and interpret it very easily. Like if you are writing paragraphs, then once your paragraph has completed, leave one line, then start the other paragraph. Then fourth is, do not write in capital letters. If you are writing anything in capital letters in email, it seems as if you are shouting, and this will create a bad impression on the other person, and he will give in return some bad messages to you. So the situation can get worsened. So to avoid it, do not write anything in capital letters in email. Fifth is, add an email disclaimer. We should always add an email disclaimer before the email and after the email, so that if a virus is creeps up in your email, you are not held responsible for that. Sixth is, handle abbreviations and emoticons with care. If you are writing a business letter, a business email, do not use emoticons or this abbreviation. It is said to be indecent. Seventh is, gender sensitivity should be there. You do not know whether the other person is a man or a woman, so use nouns which are gender neutral. Like, instead of writing man or woman, write person or individual. Instead of writing chairman, write chairperson. Instead of writing mankind, write people or human beings. Instead of writing man-made, you can write machine-made, synthetic. Instead of writing policeman, write police officer. That will be gender neutral noun. Then instead of writing common man, you can write the average person. That would be quite better. Then comes ethical issues. See, what is information? Information is fed into our mind in order to gain knowledge about each and everything around us. But there are some issues on internet that can creep up, like intellectual property rights, digital property rights, and plagiarism, which we'll be soon covering in the next video. Thank you.